Hi guys, just want to share something. A quick little video, should be about 30 minutes long. We'll see, it could get longer than that, depending on how many stories and how much I get carried away. Just want to do a short video on how to be successful. I mean, the first steps to take. So before I start, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Tom Walker. I'm 23 years old, and I'm currently being mentored by Matt Pocius. Matt, who's a very successful businessman who made his first million at 18, and I just want to share some of the things I've learned along the way, some of the steps which can help you be successful, not only in business but I believe in life. I mean, it's definitely helped me in life, not in business. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is success. What is success? I think it's a great question. I think success is something we really get caught up on. I mean, it can lead to anxiety. It can lead to depression if you feel you're not having the success you deserve, or you're not getting the recognition you deserve. I think that's definitely the case. So, I mean, a lot of people turn to me that they say they're successful. They come over as successful. I mean, they're similar age to me, 23, 24. I mean, 25. They're in the 20s anyway, and they've got team leaders roles. They've got managers roles in different jobs, and they go, I've been really successful. And what tends to be the case, I mean, when I speak to people, is they've had success in the short term, but long term the success isn't there. I mean, let's say they've managed to hit the position of manager, but above that, managing director, CEO, I'd say it's quite a small business. So obviously the manager director, he only wants to go up, and he can only go up if the CEO leaves. So if the CEO is still in place and managing director is still in place, then you can't go any further than the manager. So you're almost staying stagnant, would I say? And I think people are saying, I think people are seeing that in life, that their job is almost stagnant, and they're not getting the success or recognition they deserve. I think particularly in UK, I think particularly in the climate we currently have. I mean, you just look at supermarkets now. I know when I used to go in as a kid, I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people. Used to have cashiers at every till, and now you only have one or two, and the rest is self-service. So, I mean, that times are changing, and it's something I'll speak about later in the video. But it's something we have to stay up to date with. Again, it is something I'll mention later anyway. So again, what is success? I got told a great quote. It was by my friend Aaron Collins, and when I met him, and he turns around and he goes, "Tom, you need to mind your own business." And I thought, what are you on about, Aaron? I've never been rude. I've tried to stay friendly, and I mean, stay out of people's business. What, their business doesn't involve me, so I don't need to be involved. So I kind of looked at Aaron. I was a bit confused, a bit puzzled. I went, Aaron, can you expand on what you mean? And he says, you need to start watching your own time, not your boss's. And again, I was a bit perplexed. I was a bit puzzled. I went, Aaron, can you expand on this? So he goes, so Tom, you work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. He goes, when you're at work and you have them targets to meet, whose targets are you meeting? Well, I was like, well, I'm not meeting my own. I'm meeting my companies, my boss. So I was like, would you agree you're meeting your bosses? I said, absolutely, 100% yes. I'm meeting my business, my bosses. So it goes, Sunday night when you've got work the next morning, and you're out, wherever you've been, you may have had dinner, you may have had lunch, just gone and relaxed, had time to yourself. And it's starting to get late, and you go, oh, I've got to go to bed, I've got work in the morning. He goes, at that point, whose time are you watching, yours or your boss's? I'm like, well, I've got to be at work, otherwise I don't get paid. So my bosses as well. He went, yeah, of course. I mean, you're watching your boss's time, and I mean, this is something I heard a couple of years ago now, and it's something I think will stick to me for forever. And just want to tell you a bit about myself, how I managed to meet Aaron. So yeah, I was studying at university, and I had the same belief as everyone else. From an early stage, it's kind of grounded towards you go to school, you study hard, and the people that study hard, you get the best grades. Then you move on to university, study hard again, and once you finish, you walk into a great job. Once you've finished and you have the best grades, the business owners and employees, they want to employ you because you've shown you know about a lot about that subject. And in reality, how many times that occurs, it really doesn't. I was reading a stat the other day which was shocking. It said over 70% of people are working in a field which they're not educated in. And I mean, at the time I heard that, I kind of laughed. I went, "Oh, that never happened to me." And I mean, I looked at the people above me. I was studying sports therapy, and what was occurring is that our degree was different to the rest, as we got clinical hours, we got work placement in some professional teams, very good professional teams. I won't mention names, but they're absolutely great to us to give us them opportunities. So we're almost going, well, we have the degree, we have the knowledge, and we have the work experience. So surely we can get offered a good job when finished. And what actually happened was, once finished, after 3-4 years of study, is they're getting offered apprenticeships. getting offered, next to no money really for some cases, for a 12-month to 24-month period of apprenticeship where there's not a guarantee of a full-time job after it. So after university and studying, it almost was 5 years, five years of study to get to the decision where you may have a permanent job in that field, or you may not. And this really got me thinking. I was like, wow. I was like, after this song, I really don't want to do an apprenticeship. I was like, wow. At that time, I want to be looking to settle down, move out, and kind of live my own life really. So I mean, at that point, I didn't know at that time, but I made a conscious decision to move into business and having my own business and basically buying into myself, investing in myself. Again, this is a video we'll speak about later in the series. Obviously, this is the first video of many. Just want to kind of have an introduction, a quick few steps about how to be successful, not only for myself but people who have been successful. I mean, the steps taken by Richard Branson, Ty Lopez, Matt Pocius, who's my mentor, absolutely brilliant. Dan Pena, Warren Buffett, Eric Worre, all of these guys, which I'm sure a lot of people would have heard of, how they've been successful. So, I mean, we're going back to what I've said. I made the conscious decision. So, I mean, I've always had ideas about business and what to go into. I've kind of been quite blessed to kind of come up with a few ideas. I'll share one now. It's something I didn't do, but I don't think, if I'm honest, I don't think anyone's picked up on this. So if you're watching and think this is a great idea, then be sure, be sure, hit it. Just make sure you credit me after and basically guide them to this page, and I'm sure we can arrange an interview where we can talk about how this video hopefully helped you out really. So I mean, a couple of years ago, it used to be, I wouldn't say a massive gamer, but you know, I enjoy my video games as a way to relax. One of them games was FIFA 16, well, I say FIFA 16, that's this year's, but it was a FIFA series, and Ultimate Team. And if a lot of people don't know about Ultimate Team and what it is, it's so it's basically just FIFA Online. You open up virtual packs, you get cards, and you play with them cards, with the aim to obviously beat everyone, be at the top. But you always want you want to play with the top players as well, and the top players were like the Cristiano Ronaldo's, the Lionel Messi's, and I would see just going through YouTube, just looking online, how much money and revenue is going through Ultimate Team. It was crazy, and I kind of looked at it and thought, well, hang on, if this is the market, surely if I do something similar, and if someone did a raffle, how many people would go and join, really? And I kind of looked at it and went, well, I know a couple of websites already which have been successful without selling a product, so to say. So such as YouTube. YouTube's a great example. They don't sell a product, but they do have advertising, and that's where they get most of their money, through advertising and the amount of I'm going to say traffic, the amount of people which go through the site. And another one for me, I'm a huge sports fan. Been kind of blessed to play sport at a pretty good level throughout my career. So that was stick cricket. I think it was before a England series and Ashes series, where they got sponsored quite heavily by NatWest. But before them, they had so much traffic and people going through the website that, again, people were advertising. Now, the product was, I mean, I'm not sure if many people know, the product was made on Flash. Flash is, I mean, it's quite basic software really. Once, if you know the computer inside, it's nothing too hard. The game was made for free. So yeah, that I mean, it was a couple of guys just with a passion in cricket who created that and made that who made that game, and it's turned out to be a great success today. Obviously with sponsorship picking up on that, and you know the traffic going through the website, and sorry, sorry, I just had a quick brainwave there. I was just thinking about back when I was 13, 14, and at that stage I was looking at. I had my own website. It wasn't for any virtual money. I mean, at that age, I didn't want to deal with money. I didn't want to deal with any legal sides which occur with the transfer of money. But what I did do instead was to get free web hosting, to get a lot of stuff. I offered products in return. So I offered logos, etc., for free web hosting, and that's basically how I got success through that. So moving back to my point, you know, my ideas, what occurred. So obviously, massive fan of sport, always had this idea, lucky to play sport at a decent level. But then I got injured. I got injured. I was quite badly injured. I was out for 2 years, 2.5 years, and I never thought I would return. Still to this day, I've probably not been able to return to the level I was at. So it got me thinking. All these business ideas I had, all these ideas. Some of them were ludicrous, really. Some of them absolutely ludicrous. But others kind of did make sense when you looked into them more. So I just kind of wrote down my ideas, and it was one day when walking through Tesco actually, and at that stage I was doing some amateur bodybuilding. It's never lucky enough to compete. It's still something I'm looking into, but you know I kind of dibble dabble when I went back to other sports really, and I went in there and I was shocked by the selection, and it wasn't in a good way at all. And I remember speaking to a girl from Lithuania, one of my business partners, and she said when she was coming to London, she says in Lithuania, obviously the country is so small, the selection is found to be quite poor really, because of the size of the country and the demands it meets. So she was excited to come to London and see what foods they had. And she got over here, and they didn't have a lot of choice for her. So she was shocked, and that's something I looked into. I said, there's not a lot of choice. And I kind of started looking at gaps in the market and thinking, okay, I've kind of got this idea, but how do I make this happen? How do I get something in place to make this be successful? You know, how do I take this from being just my idea to something real? And then furthermore, how to make it successful. So I looked around. Luckily, I was from the UK, so I was blessed to be able to contact the Prince's Trust. And I mean, if you're age 16 to 30 with a business idea, I'd definitely say contact the Prince's Trust. I'll just be 1 minute. Just coming down, got an awful cough at the minute, which is bad. Kind of doesn't help when I'm doing these videos talking for so long. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, I contacted the Prince's Trust, and I mean, I was going through the course. I thought I would learn a lot. I thought it would almost be going back to school, so them telling me the answers. What I found is I actually knew quite a lot of the answers, and they just provided me, I would say, the platform, but they provided me the questions to give them answers. And they also included a mentor for the 2 years. The first year you meet with your mentor once every 2 weeks, and then it'll go to once a month, but they were there anytime you needed them. And this kind of reflects in business for me. This is one of my first steps. This is something you can write down. It's look for a mentor. I mean, I could argue that you've got to be open-minded and willing to change. Just going to share another quick story, and it was when I spoke to Matt, and he goes, "Tom, why are you acting like a genius?" I went, "Well, what do you mean, Matt? I don't understand." He goes, "When's the last time you read a book?" Luckily, it was about 2-3 weeks ago when I was on holiday, so I read Paul McGee How to Be Successful with People, but I kind of went, before then, after then? Never. He goes, "When's the last time you studied, reflected on yourself?" I went, "I'm at university, but I've never reflected on myself. I've never really looked at developing myself, so to speak." So he goes, "So you're almost acting as if you know it all already, you're not learning anything. Is that a fair comment?" I went, yeah. I mean, I suppose it is, because I'm not doing anything to take the next steps. So this is kind of the next steps I took. Obviously, I've said I've just gone into one of the first steps. Look for a mentor, and people almost take this as in they're looking for someone right at the top, and that's not always the case. Obviously, I've mentioned the Richard Lopez the Richard Branson, Ty Lopez, Dan Pena, Matt Pocius, Donald Trump, all these successful names, really, particularly in business. Well, it doesn't have to be that. You could be someone who's just working in a warehouse, for example, working at the bottom level, and you want to build your way up to being a team leader. Now, I've had this question put to me many times: "Tom, how am I going to get there?" So I went, okay, I mean, you're asking the right questions, but you're asking them to the wrong person, so to speak. I'm not in that business, so I don't know how you can get there. So have you ever asked your team leader or someone higher how they got to that position? No, why would I? Well, they're in the perfect position to help you. Admittedly, some people, I mean, you all kind of look after yourself. You're kind of limited as to where you go. If the team leader's there and is thinking this guy could be a threat, they may not help you as much, but they can point you on the right guideline. Ultimately, it's up to you what you do. So look for a mentor in life. I mean, once I had a look at the Prince's Trust, I was then approached by a couple of guys I play football with. I mean, you'll see an interview coming soon with one of the guys. I think you'll be surprised about where he came from to where he is now, and it's extraordinary in how he's managed to help me, and I think how I've managed to help him in return is a fascinating story, and I'm sure you'll all want to listen to it. So make sure to check that out. Of course, we've still got more content from this video. So yeah, so in that business, I was quite blessed. I'm not going to mention what the business is. I'm sure I'll mention it at a later point, but right now we're talking about the steps. So we're looking at looking for a mentor. Luckily, I walked into this business and there was a structure, so to speak, but there wasn't limited by how many managers there was, how many managing directors there was, how many CEOs there was. So the people from the top were willing to help the people at the bottom because they understand the more successful they are is also the more successful you are, as the company was actually in network marketing, so to speak. And I want to share a quick story about the change in field. As I joined this business, I was surprised to find out that Virgin was one of the partnerships we had on board, and I was surprised to hear. I always thought telesales was the way to go for advertising, and in hindsight, it isn't. I was surprised to see Richard Branson was changing the field, trying to pull out of telesales. I mean, you still see them every now and then, but not as often as you did, because he understands the power of network marketing, and he understood that he was making more sales through network marketing. Now you're going, Tom, not in network marketing, I don't want to be. But how does this translate to me? So let's say you're looking at a brand new smartphone. Okay, so who do you look for when buying it? Do you go in the store and just buy it? I mean, I'm sure people out there that still do. But you normally look for the best offer and you look at something which is reliable. But do we believe that person in store who's a trained salesman? Or do we look at YouTube videos looking at reviews from someone we trust and asking friends? Again, people we trust. So this is my step number 2. Key part in sales and business is be genuine. Be someone people can talk to. I see a lot of newcomers come into sales, and I mean the easy mistake to make is to list all the facts straight away. And what actually happens when you speak to the person they're selling to, the products speak for themselves, but we just couldn't kind of trust the guy. We didn't know anything about him. We didn't know if he was genuine and giving us the best deal. And that's my second stage of how to be successful. Be genuine, be honest, be there for people. Just be nice. I mean, the days when you could tell someone to go away, or so to speak, and another day they could be the person there to help you and pick you up. So just try and help people along the way. So first step, we've got get yourself a mentor in any walk of life. Someone you can copy, someone you can look at, reflect on, maybe even learn to speak from. I mean, I know from the experience I've had, a lot of businessmen, they look at people who are successful and try to copy them. And I say to people, okay, you look at people at the top in business, and I asked them, can you name someone who didn't have a mentor? And the one which kind of speaks out to everyone is Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg, obviously the founder of Facebook. Everyone knows Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. And I was actually surprised to find out myself, his mentor was Steve Jobs. So, I mean, it speaks for himself. You've got to have a mentor. So step 1, get yourself a mentor. Step 2 is be genuine, honest. I'm going to move on to step 3. You've got to be developing. I spoke about it earlier. I mean, I would say this is probably the number 1 step. If I'm honest, before all the others, you've got to be willing to change and willing to move forward, willing to read the books. And I talk about Steve Jobs, and obviously everyone knows him for Apple and how successful he is. Not many people know he was actually, he founded Apple. He actually got fired from Apple. So this was at a later stage. Obviously, Apple got reasonably successful. Steve Jobs left. It didn't really do a lot in that time. He went back and thought, well, I've been successful before. I know the market. I know the products we sell. It's going to be easy. And what actually happened in this period was Apple lost revenue, and Steve Jobs got fired from the company he created. And how did Steve Jobs take this? I mean, a lot of people will be upset, be angry. And Steve Jobs turned around and went, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I stood still. I wasn't going forward. I wasn't adapting. I wasn't learning. And I stayed stagnant, basically. So after that, he started learning. And later on, he was approached by Apple again, and to go back and change it. And this time he was very successful again. And well, you can see the success to this day from what Steve Jobs did. So step 3, and probably the most important step, is make sure you're moving forward. And I think for today's lecture, I think I'm just going to mention the 3 steps. Obviously, just going to talk a little bit about me. Obviously, once I managed to think of business, went through the Prince's Trust, and then I got offered that business, which was great. I mean, it took me out my comfort zone. I had to learn, and I had to speak in front of people. I hated that. I was quite shy, and I didn't really like doing that. I didn't like rejection. I had to kind of put that off. But then, after a while, I mean, to this day, I would say that's one area I definitely need to get better at. And I actually approached Matt, and we just got talking. It was actually over social media. I just messaged him on Facebook and kind of asked the question, because in businesses before, I always got told you fail your way to the top, and if you don't ask, you'll never get. And this is the same way. Matt Pocius, who is now my mentor, and I'm really great to have him. Same way Matt got mentored by Ty Lopez, Dan Pena, and these great mentors is mentoring us today through asking. I mean, you'll be surprised at how far asking can get you, and the fear. I mean, this is a lesson which we'll talk about. Fear is. I learned it along the way. Fear is just an acronym for false evidence appearing real. So you'd probably be thinking, what does that mean? Now, as a kid, I always had that fear of a shark being in a swimming pool. You think about that? It's just false evidence appearing real. How would that shark get in the swimming pool? Let alone, how would that shark survive in that swimming pool with all the chemicals? So yeah, I think people look at these bosses and look at maybe the Apprentice, which is kind of TV based, and Alan Sugar looks almost unapproachable. I think in reality, I think Alan Sugar is probably very approachable, and if you go to him and go, can I learn from you, or there's this part I'm not great at, is there something you can advise me on? Which happened in my case. I was asking for Matt's advice, and luckily he gave it to me. And after speaking to him a while, we got talking, built up a little rapport. He asked me a little bit about myself. I kind of explain my situation and explain that I kind of want to get into business, and I've been looking at it, doing a little bit for the past couple of years. And Matt kind of looked at it and went, you know what, your situation is so similar to mine. And he went, Tommy, you be a mentor at the minute. I would love to be your mentor. I'm not gonna lie, this took me back. I never thought of being a mentor before. Sorry, or of having a mentor before. So, I mean, it took me back. It startled me, but I knew I couldn't pass up on this opportunity. It was too good. So I took that opportunity, and I've never looked back since. I think I've always been striving to move forward, really. So yeah, number 3, make sure you're moving forward. For now, it's just three short little tips, really, to put you on the right road to success. We'll talk about more as the series goes on. But I think you start doing them three tips now, I think you'll start to get there. So just to recap, first tip: get yourself a mentor. It doesn't matter if so to speak, they are your mentor, or they're just someone higher than you, which you want to kind of replicate, really. Want to replicate. So yeah, number 1, get yourself a mentor. Number 2, be genuine. You've got to be genuine, be nice, be the person you want to be, or want to speak to, should I say. And number 3, always strive to move forward. Make sure you're doing something to move forward. Read the books, look at journal articles, do whatever you can in your field to move forward. And if you don't know yourself, just go and ask someone who's had success or is a step higher than you, just to see how they got to that success, and to see what steps they took, and to see if you can replicate them. So yeah, that's me for now. Hopefully you stay tuned and watch all the series. Just a quick little video. Hopefully you get in and try them 3 steps, and you'll see the success for yourselves. If you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. And I mean, I hope to answer the majority of them through the videos anyway. So as for now, 3 quick steps, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.